Yeah, I know.
Hey everybody, welcome to a Monday morning edition of Box Seats. I'm your host, Frank Holder. I'm here with two comedians who you guys have known have been in the business for a long time. They've been in comedy festivals, comedy shows, comedy, just everything related to comedy for a while. These guys have some serious pedigree too. They came from Def Comedy Jam. And since they've been in everything, now it's only eventually it's time that they land up in a sports show. So here we are. That's Fig, that's talent. I'm Frank. Let's get ready to talk about some sports. Now, I do have to say this. It seems like every single day we come on, every day. You know, I think you already know what we're about to talk about, right? We're going to talk about some kind of COVID test that dropped off and jumped off on somebody this morning. Now, this morning, the COVID looks like 2 Cardinals tested positive. The Browns just got some notification early this morning that there's going to be a player tested positive. The Ravens got a player tested positive too, and it looks like there's a couple more people there is some kind of news coming up that there will be some more positive tests too. We're still waiting on word from that. Now, like I said to you guys before, I have a funny feeling, talent, tell me if I'm wrong. I have a funny feeling as the season gets along, we're going to get a star player in a big game who's going to test positive and can't play.
Yeah, I think so. I think you hit the nail on the head with that one. I think it's inevitable. I think we're gonna hit that wall one day that it's gonna be that big player, like you said, that big money game, and everybody put their money over here, and then they go, Brady's not playing.
Right.
And everybody's gonna be like, and then all hell's gonna break loose. Now, if you're Vegas, what does that mean?
I think I got the question for you, Fig. Being that the way the thing is happening right now, would you be surprised if it didn't happen that way? You know what I mean? Would you be surprised if a big star didn't get the virus? Because Cam Newton got it not too long ago, and that was early on.
And you asked a question, didn't answer it. I was gonna say, does it get any bigger than Cam Newton? I mean, like, he is other than Bill Belichick, Cam Newton is the only person who has a recognizable name on the Patriots organization right now. Who else do we know? You know, there's a household name over there. We got Bill Belichick and Cam Newton, and Cam Newton tested positive. I mean, what's bigger than that?
Yeah, well, I'm just thinking, what happens if he rolls up to be a Super Bowl, right, talent, and we waiting on, let's say it's Kansas City playing, or let's just say it's Kansas City playing, I don't know, maybe Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and everybody got their money on Tampa Bay, and then Tom Brady comes up with coronavirus. You know what I mean? This is honestly, I think it's getting ridiculous. But, you know, what can you do, right?
Well, I mean, I think this is, but to be honest with you, Frank, not to downplay the virus in any way, but I think once again, I go back to the beginning. The minute you made the decision to play in this climate and culture, knowing what's going on, you have to know that those are the risks you're taking. It's like a boxer with head injuries. Like, you can't be surprised when you retire, if you had a 20, 30-year boxing career, that you got something wrong with your head.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You went to a job that moves head first.
I agree with that. I agree with that. Let's jump into now, you know, the football over the weekend and everything else. There's a lot of big stories that came up over the weekend. So, Fig, were you surprised to see Pittsburgh beat Baltimore, and Baltimore was winning the game? I mean, Baltimore had control of the game, and they literally could have and should have pulled that game out. Were you surprised to see the outcome of that, the way Pittsburgh, you know, came back and handled that?
You know what? I actually not really, because I picked Pittsburgh to win. You know, I mean, Lamar Jackson is a really good quarterback, but at the end of the day, he's still a young cat, man. Mm-hmm. He's only been in the league a few years, you know what I mean? And I know we're in a society where technology is taking off, and everybody likes stuff instant. We got microwaves and ovens. We got stuff that cook fast. We got cars that go fast. We got internet that got super speed. We got 5G. And some people think that you can rush everything like that. You can't. You can't rush everything like that. Some things take time. You know, an NBA player, a rookie coming in, he can make a big splash, but it takes a little time before they learn how to actually win in the league. It's like the NFL too. NFL is a man's league. If you want the manliest man on the planet, you could probably find him on the NFL team. That's a man's league. You get these young men coming in, and they have to learn how to win in that league. You know what I mean? Every week in and week out, you're going to see a different opponent, and you're going to see a different type of skilled player. And the coaches are highly skilled, and they know how to maneuver to eliminate what you do best. So I don't expect Lamar Jackson to come in and just wipe the league out. You know what I mean? I don't expect him to be able to do that. I give him another, if they don't destroy the kid, I give him another 2 years, and he's going to be unstoppable.
Okay.
If they don't destroy his career.
With that answer, Talent, I guess the question is going to fall to you now. Are you surprised at how Lamar Jackson is now? I mean, people are now downplaying everything. Even though he balled out yesterday, he made handfuls of mistakes. Yes, last year he was the MVP of the league. Now he's not even in the conversation. Are you surprised with how the conversation is going with Lamar Jackson, especially at the defeat of the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Well, I mean, no. I mean, the people who really know football and really watching this season, they're gonna look at it as you played Pittsburgh. They're the last undefeated team, and so you're going. I mean, if we go by paper and stats and how the paper reads, you're playing the best team, so you can lose to the best team. That's like the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl is supposed to be made up of the two best teams coming from each side meeting in this big bowl. And somebody's got to lose. Doesn't mean you're garbage. It means the other team was a better team. But you did play the best. So I think this week, now had this week been against a lesser team, the conversation would be spiraling out of control in the wrong direction. But because of Pittsburgh, we got to, half of us are going to be like, oh, maybe he's not that bad. But the other half are going to keep it real and be like, well, Steelers are having a good year.
Yeah, Steelers have a good year, and they will face each other again. So let me ask you this.
I want to say you got to give it to Steelers, man. They got a great quarterback over there, man. I can't believe that Pittsburgh's coach is so great when he has two jobs, man. I mean, Omar Epps is just lights out as the quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers, man.
Yeah, let's keep the conversation rolling on. Now we got to move on to what happened in New England. Got to talk about that. Cam Newton he had a great game up to a certain extent until he fumbled the ball. So, Talent, I'm gonna throw this question out there to you. Let's say the Patriots win 6 games because they're on pace right now to win 6 games. You know what I mean? Maybe 7, and that's a stretch. Does New England bring back Cam Newton, Talent, or do they say, you know what, we got to figure out what's going on? And does Cam Newton get the big contract that he's looking for? I'll throw it out there first and say I don't think he gets a big contract.
Yeah.
And I also I think it's on the fence if they even bring him back. Now, if they're in the shot to get a good quarterback, I think they cut him. That's just my opinion. What's your thought process, Town?
Well, I think they'll keep him. I think because what we're going to see, no matter what the record shows, we're going to see vintage Cam the rest of the year. I told you that 2 weeks ago that once this, finally beats this virus situation and the repercussions of that, he's going to get back to form, and we're going to start seeing good Cam football. And his game is going to speak for itself. Now, part 2 of that, like you said, the big contract, he's not going to get the big one he's expecting, not with cheap-ass Belichick. He would get I think he was trying to do a one and done this year with right, but if they bring him back. No, I know that. He's coming back. He did the one and done to try to get paid going forward. What I'm saying is you guys up there, cheap-ass Belichick, ain't going to be the team to give him the money.
Right.
Now, it's going to come down to him. Do I want to stay with a team with some prestige, or do I go sign with Joe Schmo team who got a lot more money in the package? I think he'll pick the Patriots because he's a flossy guy. I mean, any guy that dresses like your grandma going to church, he shows he's about the floss. So I think staying in a name brand team, so to speak, he's going to stay there, take less. But you guys are not paying a lot of money. Belichick is cheap. Belichick is the Walmart of coaches. You know what I mean? He's gonna put it all on sale, and he'll show you somebody else's check to make you go less. They go, he's only getting this. They did that with Brady for years.
Right. I'll throw this out there to you, Fig. I see Cam leaving. Let's say Cam leaves. I could also see him being a backup somewhere like a Dallas Cowboys getting more than what the Patriots would pay him, just in case Dak Prescott comes back and he don't get hurt. What do you think the probability of that is going to be? Because if Dak does come back, he's going to come back for that, obviously for that 1 year because he's going to play on the franchise tag. And then they're going to be concerned he gets hurt again. And the Dallas Cowboys are going through something serious right now of what happened when you get your starting quarterback injured. And they're horrible. We all know that too. You see him coming. You see Cam Newton possibly landing on Dallas. You see him possibly staying in New England. What's your thought process?
Oh man, if he went, I don't even know if he's gonna have the option to go back to the Patriots, man.
I don't think he will.
Belichick, the way we see Belichick, he's more likely to jump ship early, off a quarterback, because he tried to get rid of Tom Brady early and plug in Jimmy Garoppolo and win. So he might jump early. Like Chandler said, he ain't paying no money. To see Cam Newton play as a backup, that would have to be if there's nothing else available to him, because I think his ego is too big to go to a team and play backup quarterback. And in Dallas, I don't want to say nothing about the quarterback they got playing now because his name is Danucci. You know what I mean? So I don't want to make the Italians mad at me. You know what I mean? Danucci, he did pretty good yesterday. He's one of those guys. So I don't want to go and say nothing about Danucci.
All right, let me ask you this talent. Let me move on. I was watching the game yesterday. I watched the Bears game, a little bit and everything else. Now, I know everybody was surprised about the fight. Nobody really talking about that and everything else. But I think the fight threw the mojo out of the Bears, because the Bears ended up, they had momentum in the game. The Bears was doing something. You know what I mean? A little bit something, everything else. But the fight between Javon Mims and LJ Garner Johnson and everything else, as the Bears lost in overtime to the Saints and everything else, I don't know. It looked like Bears are starting to take that to heart. They might be moving in the wrong direction from this and everything else. And Nick Foles might have lost his job yesterday. So Nick Foles didn't play that good. But, the Bears overall were playing all right. But what's your thought process after you saw the whole game? You saw the highlights. You saw the interviews. Nick Foles folding. I mean, what's your thoughts?
Well, I'll tell you about the Bears. I mean, I'm the only one on this show that still don't believe. You guys been betting on the Bears the last couple of weeks like there's some newfound fortune. They're not. Like, I was never sold. They're just decent. Like, to me, they're decent. Like, you got three phases of stuff. You got really good teams, you got really bad teams, and you got decent. And the Bears are in the middle there with decent. I don't think this fight or anything has nothing to do with Foles and them folding and everything. I think we're going into the second half of the season. And I think fight or no fight happening or not, we're going to start seeing how mediocre the Bears are going to be. Once they start playing more and more teams who are prone to scoring, they're going to get decimated. I don't see the Bears making any major noise. I know Rodney's going to disagree with that, but I'm just keeping it real with you. Everybody could have had a fight. It could have been a brawl.
Mm-hmm.
They were going to lose.
Yeah,
it's going to do that.
Faye, what's your thought?
I don't know. It takes a certain mindset to win a game. I don't know what flipped the switch. I didn't see the interviews afterwards. And
let me just tell you, so one player said that the other player spit on him, which started the whole thing. And now, and the news just dropped right before you started your answer saying that he denied he spit on him. So go ahead.
Hey, listen, man. That explains a lot.
Yeah.
I was about to say I didn't know what precipitated the fight, but if somebody spit on you, dude, I don't care who it is. All bets is off. Mike Tyson, Shaquille O'Neal. I don't care who it is. Somebody spit on you, nigga. I gotta take that beating. I don't care what I'm going for mine. You spit on me, I'm going for. I don't care how big you are, who you are, whatever. I'm gonna have to take that. Win or lose, I'm gonna have to take that. You can't spit on me. So that makes a lot of sense. That's it. Like, I was like, yo, this dude actually, like, he flipped the switch. You see, he went to a whole nother level. I was like, yo, what happened? Yo, he ran up on the dude, he snatched his chain, and he gave him one, and the dude just looked at him, and he hit him with another one. It was like the dude was in shock. Like, yo, what happened? Yo, man, it was just, and that'll take you out of your mindset, man. I don't care what nobody say. That'll take you out of your mindset because you know, they say football is the ultimate team game.
Mhm.
You lose one of your teammates like that, you know, one of your starters in the midst of a game like that, if you don't know what's happening, it sort of throws you. I would imagine that a lot of guys on the field didn't know what happened until after the game. So that kind of, you know what I mean? That could kind of
No,
flip
I
you.
think I hear what you're saying, but I'm willing to bet that he went over there because if you saw during the play, one of his players was patting the dude on the back saying, "Calm down." You know what I mean? You can see he was saying that, and then the play almost changed almost immediately after that because he was telling him to calm down. And then he turned to him and said something. And then after that, they were all testy. I don't listen. We will never know because we weren't there. But I
Right.
think it even changed the momentum of how their thought process. They were more trying to murder somebody when they were tackling people after that. You know what I mean? And they were missing tackles. I mean, it started to look sloppy. Because as you said, once you get angry, you get taken out of your game. You know what I mean? We all know ball players do that. Basketball players do it all the time. Football players do it. They do it all the time to take you out your game. They try to get you upset. So,
Right.
Well, you know what? Somebody will tell you this. A martial arts instructor will tell you this. He said, if you get angry and you lose your cool, he said you're probably gonna lose the fight.
yeah.
The guy
No
who is
matter how good you are.
the guy who is most in control is probably the person that's gonna win. Anger will make you do things like crazy. Anger almost makes you like a drunk person. It's just like you are out of your mind and you have no control over what it is that you're doing. So I can see that. I can see that. It makes sense.
All right, well, let's jump into talk about some NBA rumors because over the weekend there's been a lot of NBA rumors, bro, and you all know I do my homework. So I'm getting ready to pull out my Pelican brief. I don't have my folder right here. I'm going to pull out my Pelican brief, as Rodney Perry likes to say. Y'all are not going to believe this because you all are two New York fans, you know what I mean? But the Knicks are shopping heavily right now. They're trying their darnest. They've been in contact with Golden State to get the number 2 draft. The Knicks got the number 8 draft, so they're promising to give them Golden State the number 2 and somebody on the team. Now, I'm going to throw it out there to you, Talent, and say, if you were going to be New York Knicks and you were going to get the number 2 draft, who would you take from New York and swap it out with, and or would you do the draft swap? Would you do it? I will say this. I don't think Golden State is going to go for the number 8 and a player. I think Golden State is going to want a number 8 and 2 players. That's what I think negotiations going to happen.
I think that's pretty much more realistic. You're going to have to give up 2 players, I think. And if with me and the Knicks, I could do it, but I have to have every team should have what they call untouchables.
Yeah,
people I'm not willing to deal. And if I'm the GM over in New York Knicks land, I don't want to. Frank has to stay. Barrett has to stay. RJ got to stay. And I think what's my man named Robinson. I think those 3 guys are 3 guys that have to stay. I could build with these guys. They're both great at what they do. All 3 of them are great at what they do. Everybody else, I can work it out. Let's negotiate.
Let me stop you right there and tell you who Golden State wants and see if you change your answer. Golden State wants RJ Barrett. They want him. And they want him. So I guess, do you want to rephrase your answer? I'll give you the rephrase your answer and say if you want. I'll give you the chance.
No, I just told you he's untouchable to me. I'm not going to change that shit. He's untouchable to me. I'm not going to change it. I'm going to sit at the drawing board and keep going beating up the drawing board till we come to another agreement because I can't keep giving away. I just got him in the same situation. Mm-hmm. Here we are a couple of years later. I'm going to just give that away and try again. And I don't know what's coming out is going to be. I know this guy's good. Mm-hmm. I don't know what I'm going to get is going to be good. We watch teams every time, month after month, season after season, give up what they know for what they don't know. Who the hell keeps trading known for unknown? I wouldn't do that with a woman in my life. I'm not going to do it with a player on my team. I want you to do my dog's around here. I mean, hey, that dog is pretty. Yeah, but I know this dog. I don't know that dog.
That's true. That's true.
They're going to come here and chew all my shoes up.
And you know what? They go challenge with them analogies. I love it. I love it. RJ Barrett.
I seen you come out with the Pelican brief. So I see your Pelican brief and I raise you an analogy.
There you go. So Fig, RJ Barrett and a number 8 for a number 2 from Golden State. Would you do it?
No way. No how. No way. No how. RJ Barrett is probably the best player He was probably last year was probably the best player on the Knicks next to Marquise Morris.
Yeah.
And he was a rookie. He showed a lot of potential, going to the hole, a lot of drive, a lot of will to win. He has the heart, he has the skill, he shoots, he's not afraid. Mitchell Robinson, no way. I'm gonna tell you this right now. If the Knicks trade RJ Barrett, I'm officially done, kid.
I knew he was going to say.
I knew he was going to say that.
Done.
He said that all the time. He said,
No. Understand me.
Huh?
I've been doing this since the 70s. If the Knicks give away this player, I'm done. Unless they're gonna get like somebody, you can't do it for a draft pick. You're gonna give me a proven player. You're gonna give me a Klay Thompson. You're gonna give me a Steph Curry or somebody like that. I don't even want Draymond Green. I don't want Draymond. You're gonna give me a Klay Thompson or Steph Curry. I'd be like, okay, that makes sense. But for unknown, a number 2 draft pick, nah, man.
Okay. Now, speaking of shopping over the weekend, I want to come back to the Knicks in a second. But speaking of shopping to the weekend, Zach LaVine was held over the Lakers' head over the weekend too. Zach LaVine, Zach LaVine, he's all right and everything else, but they're dangling him over to the Lakers. So I'm gonna say this to you, Tyler. If you're the Lakers and you know you lost half your roster, you start is Zach LaVine one of the pieces you start building with?
That's not bad. That's not a bad piece to start building with. You're still in your youthful years. You know what I mean? If you're going to build something, that's the main thing somebody got to bring to the table is not just that they're a ball player, but are you good and are you still young? Mm-hmm. He's both. He's still got the youthful energy and legs under him. He's very good. That's not a bad building block. I could do that.
Okay. How about you, Vic?
I think if the Lakers get Zach LaVine, he will be the most athletic player on the team. Mm-hmm. They ain't got nobody else like that kid, man. I don't care who it is. Kuzma, none of them. Ain't none of them like Zach LaVine. Now I don't know who they got to give up for him, but that kid is he's in purgatory right now because Chicago is so bad. Don't nobody really get a chance to see him prime time. That kid gets down for his, man. Like he'll make some noise. You know what I mean? If you put him on the Lakers, you're gonna see some highlight films with Zach LaVine.
Matter of fact, when you put him on the Lakers with Anthony Davis, when LeBron retires, they're going to be like, well, Zach and AD, we need one more piece, and we can keep continuing to make a run with it. So I think, they'll be building around more around Zach and AD for the future than they would be building more around LeBron. You know, that's the way I see them doing it. And we all know the Lakers are not done. No way, no how. We don't know what pieces they're going to make. We don't know what they're going to do. But speaking of pieces, Blake Griffin is being basically shocked to everybody. Right now, the only people who have expressed more immediate interest than anybody right now is Utah. Utah is even saying that they want to at least hear what the terms would be before they move forward with it. So regardless of what happens, Blake Griffin's leaving. So where he leaves and where he lands is going to be the question. But Talon, do you think Blake Griffin on Utah makes them a formidable team? What the team they have now?
Yeah, that's a big additive for Utah. And you know what's crazy is he's just enough firepower to add to a team like Utah. Like you don't want to add too much to Utah because Utah is pretty good. They're pretty good and balanced. But they need that little sprinkle of oomph. Like he's the paprika. You know what I mean? Like Blake. No disrespect to his freckles. He's the paprika to this team. Like if you add Blake Griffin to Utah, and you know what I mean? Like I know it's an analogy, but like a food analogy, like you take some. I had Mexican yesterday, right? And I'm like, I need a little something. That's Utah. Utah, it's good though, but just a little something. Blake Griffin would be the paprika.
There you go. The analogy again.
Yeah, man,
that's a good one.
I like Blake Griffin, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because I know he didn't get along when he was with the Clippers and stuff like that, but a healthy Blake Griffin, even if he's not still athletic, what I like about him is that he worked on his game and he developed a mid-range knockdown shot. You know what I mean? So he's tough, and he's just. I'm not saying he's not athletic, but I'm just saying he developed something else to his game that even if he loses a bit of his athleticism, he's still got enough game to be to be serviceable. And he's that. I think he could be that third piece with Donovan and Gobert. You know what I mean? Because now you can't key in on those dudes, and he plays defense.
And Fig, he did a Michael Jordan, is what you said. That's what Michael did. He did a Michael Jordan. That's what Mike did at the end of his career. He developed that short jumper so that when he wasn't going to dunking on everybody all day, every day, he fell back on that little fadeaway, that double move fadeaway, and he got because he didn't always have the short jumper that night.
Right, right. Blake Griffin is he's got that shot, man. I was watching him and he knocks that down pretty regular. Before he got hurt, he was knocking that shot down pretty regular. You know what I mean? So I like him.
I had to bring Rodney Perry with the paprika.
I was wondering why. I was like, why is Frank laughing so hard, man?
No, I didn't want to figure Rodney Perry this early. Normally I don't, but when he was holding up the paprika, I just had to. Now I'm gonna ask y'all this one last question before Rodney Perry jumps in. It messes it all up with Oladipo to Dallas. Do you see that happening? Because Oladipo is also one of the main players who's being shopped around too, right?
Wow.
You know what I mean? Now Oladipo, if he lands on Dallas, like I said before, talent, and I said it several times during the last couple of weeks. This is one of the craziest NBA seasons we're going to see. Nothing we see will surprise me because, the way all these players are being shopped. So Oladipo literally could land up in Dallas right now because he's being shopped heavily also. Does it make sense to you? I mean, I think it makes great sense if Dallas picks him up, but I'd be more concerned.
The only person who's going to be happy is Dallas. It makes all the sense in the world for them. But he's one of those players that makes sense for a lot of teams right now. So I look forward to this. He's going to have some options. It's not going to just be boom, Dallas that easy. I think it's options on the table with him as far as where he lands up. But he helps any team.
Fake, what you think?
Yo, man, I like Victor Oladipo, man, because this kid. He's got the heart of a champion, and he got a lot to his game, man. He got that three-pointer. He got that drive to the hole. And, I think he'd be a nice compliment to a Luka Doncic and a Kristaps. But the one thing is, since the NBA season is going to start so soon, we don't even know if Kristaps is going to make it back that soon because he had a major injury.
I don't think he's going to make it back. I think he's still going to be injured. And if he's
going to be out, so
yeah.
So Dallas needs somebody because they ain't got Porzingis. Oladipo would be a nice little additive to it. He's a little seasoning, a little paprika, if you will.
It's about that time. Let's bring in my man, Mr. Rodney Perry. We're bringing him in a few minutes early because, of course, it's that time for I Disagree, and I want to start asking some more questions. Jump back into the NFL, a couple other things after Rodney Perry's and after Stack does his thing. So anyway, Rodney Perry, but I Disagree. Segment called I Disagree. How you doing today, bro?
It's been an outstanding show up to this point. Tyler never fails to crack me completely up. I thought I was good. I made it through the show, and then he came out with the paprika. Well done, my friend. Well done. Let's get right to it. Y'all talked about the game with Pittsburgh and Baltimore. Look, man, Lamar Jackson, with all his talent, we all know the dude is the truth, but he fails, he shrinks in big games. We've seen it in the playoffs, and we see it every time he faces anything that's regarded as a big game. This guy folds. And so I'm sorry to say it, but, as Fig, you spoke to the time, maybe he needs more time, but Mahomes ain't had no time.
Listen,
so, go ahead.
I'm going to say that there's some exceptions to that rule, with your Mike Jordans, the Kobe, the Magic Johnson, but for the most part, generally speaking, 90% of the dudes need time.
Well, again, I'm not saying that's not true, but he also is going to be graded on the barometer of Mahomes. They came in the league around the same time. He actually was out there before Mahomes, and we seen Mahomes ascend to highest heights. So that's his barometer, that's his measuring stick. So man, I would like to see I would like to see him. I got him in my fantasy. I need him to be better, and I need him to kill the game. But I mean, I'm not writing him off, but it's tough out there. I heard talent besmirching the name of my Bears. We don't need you to believe, talent. We don't need you. You still believe in them lousy Jets and Giants. At least my guy's winning a little bit. Anyway, here it goes in reference to the Steelers. They good. Say what you want to say about Ben Roethlisberger. The Steelers are they good. They got good defense. They got a decent offense. They got a lot of great pieces. I mean, you can't get mad if you lose to the Steelers. Then we get into, of course, Frank and the Pelican brief. Golden State making moves to get some of the Knicks out of all the players in the league. They want some Knicks. Like, I wouldn't put a Knick on my team. I'll be scared they're going to catch whatever the Knicks had. well, hold on. They ain't getting on our players like they've been winning. Y'all need an all clean house. Fig, you talking about giving up your Knick fanship over losing one of them lousy bats? Let me tell you something. If they was gonna get Anthony, if y'all was gonna trade Anthony Mason, I get it. Or Patrick Ewing or John Starks, I get it. You stick up for them guys. Them guys was winners. But just let it go. And in closing. I try not to walk upstairs when I get down here to my office. But when he said paprika, I was like, I got some paprika.
Yo, man, don't you besmirch the name of R.J. Barrett. That boy can play. He's a rookie.
He's the only dealable guy y'all got.
That's why we want to keep him.
You can't, ain't no deals unless you deal him. He's the only person of value. You don't deal a guy when nobody wants him. You deal a guy when you want him.
But we ain't gonna get nobody for him. They talking about no. Listen. They talking about a pick, a draft pick.
Y'all need to start over. A pick is a start over.
No, man, we already did that.
Well, yeah, y'all been doing it for 20 years. Look, y'all last good team had Patrick Ewing on it, so y'all gotta be willing to do whatever.
We ain't gotta do. Listen.
I hear Sue Bird is available.
All right, let's get ready. Let me bring in Stack. Stack, it's your turn to jump in and see what we got wrong. I want to go around asking more questions and everything else that I have you on the screen. So, Stack, did we get anything wrong, right, wrong? Where we at today?
You know, sports related, y'all had a nice clean show, but between the paprika and the additives, I didn't know if this was a sports talk show or a cooking show. Are we on the
hater,
Stack, or the humor mill?
Don't be a hater.
Okay.
Everybody loves paprika.
All right, let me get the show rolling back. Let me get it back on track. Okay.
We're not going back on track.
Let me go to this. The Jets. Speaking of the Jets, of course, we all know they lost again. But this morning, last night, over the weekend,
wait a minute, the Jets lost.
The Jets made a trade with linebacker Williamson. They sent them to the Steelers, and the Jets got more draft picks. So, Stack, I'm gonna start out with you because you just joined the show. If you're the Jets and you have all these draft picks right now, you have 25 to 27 draft picks over the next 3 years. What would be the thing that you do? Now we know you got to hire a GM, and we know you got to hire a new coach. Besides that, I'm gonna go around the table and say, if you're them, what do you throw out some Throw something out there. What would you do if you're the Jets?
If I'm the Jets, I build out the team inside out. I start with the O-line, then I go to the D-line because the game is won in the trenches, and then I touch the secondary. They got a quarterback. You know, they can draft weapons here and there, but I just think they need to just worry about the D-line and the O-line. It's really with all them picks, it's actually a luxury for them at this point. They really just want to build out around Darnold.
Right. Rodney Perry, we'll throw it to you and just add this. The Jets look like they're trying to get Trevor Lawrence. Like that looks like what they want to do. So do they keep those 25, 28, 27 draft picks and then they get Trevor Lawrence and trade him to get somebody else, or do they add him to their roster of what they're trying to do? If you're the Jets, what you do?
This is the thing, man. These teams don't want to look in the future. They want right now. They want to win now. And in order to win now, they may have to deal away some of those picks. But the catch-22 is it's a culture problem in with the Jets, I think, right now, and that's going to affect them whatever they do.
Say what you wanted to say, Rodney. There's a culture problem in New York, period. Just New York sports altogether. There's a culture problem.
I didn't want to make that.
Culture of losing.
Okay, I'm not going there right now. Talent, what do you do if you're the Jets? Being that you're a huge Jets fan, what do you do if you're the Jets? And I'll say this, I'll even throw this out there. I like to use this word caveat. I'll even throw this out there with you, Talent. Right now, if the Jets ask and they get the defensive coordinator from Kansas City Chiefs, does he help make them a better team, a better head coach, a better team, moving in the right direction with all those picks? Go ahead. What would you do?
First of all, yes to the last answer would make it better. But first of all, I'm not going to sit here and take a lesson from two dudes who are sitting in COVID-19 city Atlanta.
Hey, look.
Okay? I got a governor in this state that has cleaned this whole state up and refused to take heat from people. These two dudes are in their own bubbles. There's so much COVID in Atlanta. How dare they talk about That's first. Now back to the original question. Now, every team has at some point got to hit that wall where they got to make a build-out decision. And that's what's happening right now. You see a lot of shuffling of draft picks and people. Right now, everybody's expendable and unreasonable. Now, Rodney's right about one thing. There is a lot of pressure in the climate of the NFL to win sooner than later, a.k.a. now. So, with that being said, me and Fitz probably look like we're going to be upset when they make a move for this quarterback sweepstakes coming in and trading off Sam Darnold. I don't agree with it. Me and Fig don't like it. We've said it several times. We think he's an actual bona fide, good-ass quarterback. But this is New York, and people live and die with the hype.
All right. Okay. Fig, what do you do?
I would. Unfortunately, I have to agree with Stacks, which is very horrible. It makes me want to throw up that I have to agree with him. And I have my bucket here handy for when Stacks say something and I have to agree with him. I have to throw up off camera. I got my bucket handy. But I have to agree with Stacks and say I would build my old line to protect the quarterback that I already have instead of getting rid of everybody and just have a quarterback who, again, if I get rid of all my picks, even he is going to be unprotected.
Yeah. So
that doesn't make sense to me. You know what I mean? And Stacks, when it comes to losing, how your Patriots doing?
Oh,
let me see. 9 Super Bowls in the last 20
No.
years?
We're not talking about yet. We're talking about right now.
They're doing better than the Jets.
How are the Tomless Patriots doing right now?
Hey, I got the Jets theme song right here.
Nothing? I don't hear nothing. That's the theme song?
That too, but it's coming.
That one too.
Ah, shit. It's coming. That was going to be so good.
It's okay.
Well, let me ask you this, Rodney, since you got the floor. Let me ask you
Go
this.
ahead.
Green Bay ended up losing to Minnesota. I don't think anybody saw that coming. I don't think anybody saw how Green Bay was able to and how they were able to let Aaron Rodgers get smashed like that and everything else. Now, if you are Green Bay and you have a game like that, do you stop? You ready to push the panic button, or you say, "Oh no, we good. We good. That's just one game."
Green Bay never panics, but they probably should be. We saw Tom Brady put foot to their ass, and we saw this Viking team put foot to their ass. They might need to really look at it because they got 2 feet in their ass.
Yeah, they got 3 losses now, if I'm not mistaken. Now, and they were expected. A couple of weeks ago, they were in a conversation for going to the Super Bowl. Everybody was talking about that.
Hey, this is the fact of the matter is their QB is still a beast, but the team as a whole is okay.
All right, Stack. Green Bay got holes in them.
I think all Green Bay, they need to make a trade to beef up the O-line. I think we gave Tom Brady way too much credit for that win with his 17 completions against Green Bay. That's all he had. 17 completions.
A W.
We said it was Tom Brady. It's really that defense with Ndamukong Suh and Jason Pierre-Paul and them boys.
Yeah,
that's what got to Green Bay. And that's what we saw this weekend. Minnesota tore up that O-line. Aaron Rodgers has no protection. But with some protection, Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback in the NFL.
Stack. A W is a W. No matter how you get it.
I know, but don't give the credit to the defense. Stop giving all the credit to Tom Brady.
You can't give credit to Baltimore Ravens. You got to give credit to the whole
defense. And
you got to give credit to the whole team.
It was on the defense.
You got to give credit to the whole team. That's how it works. Fig, what's your thought process?
Man, I think that if I was Green Bay, I'd get Aaron Rodgers a receiver, and I'd get him somebody on defense. Seemed like they could use a decent linebacker, because here's the thing. No matter how many points Green Bay Packers score, they can't stop nobody.
Right.
That's the problem. That's
a major problem, man. And Aaron Rodgers, he really could use another receiver, because when they get behind, you know what Aaron Rodgers has to go into his bag, and without a receiver, he's not going to be effective. You know what I mean? And thank you, Stacks, for giving the ex-Giant Jason Pierre-Paul a little credit, even though he's short 3 fingers.
Okay, let me say that same question out to
Giants are good at injuring themselves. Take it back to Plexico. You know, they just good at that.
We still win, though.
Talent, what you think, man? Should we panic on Green Bay or not?
No, because I think what we're all forgetting right now is this is how their seasons go all the time. Green Bay, they're not a team that goes into the playoffs like with 1 or 2 or 3 losses. They always got like that crazy ass record. They always go in there. They're a dirty mud team. So they go into the playoffs every year with a mud ass record and just ball out, and they have to outscore you. They're not the Brett Favre Green Bay no more with defense. They have 0 in it. It's all Aaron Rodgers show. You know what I mean? The team only goes as far as he goes. So it's no need to panic if you right on schedule playing like you played last year, the year before, and the year before.
Okay, I give you that. I can't even disagree with that part. Rodney Perry, I'm going to ask you this. In the Dallas Cowboys game, did Dak Prescott guarantee his contract after last night's game? You know, or did he become more valuable to the team? Or you know, there's no difference. It still is what it is, because everybody expected that to happen anyway.
I mean, I've been saying this for the last few weeks that, you know, Dak's value has been understated, and they need to pay the man. You know, long and the short of it is, and I think he's just way more valuable to them than they thought he was, and he's been galvanizing those guys. And even whether he's on the field or not, they need him, and so I think they need to go and just pay him.
I agree with that one. They need to pay him back. I'm gonna ask you the same question. I mean, now, you know, he does seem extremely valuable now, doesn't he?
I don't know if it's that, you know, Dak value is being proven more, or just having a solid quarterback, in your locker room, and they don't have any other leaders on the team right now. You know, even though Jerry Jones didn't like when somebody asked that if they have a leadership problem with it, but they absolutely do. You know, the coaching is subpar. There's not a lot of veteran leadership on the team, so like Dak is kind of all they got. But I would say they just need one solid person. It don't got to be Dak.
Yeah, but Fig, correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't Dallas, even though they were losing, Didn't Dallas look a whole lot better with Dak Prescott on the field?
Hey man, they sure did. Listen, even in the losing effort, they were in every game. It looked like they were on the verge of a comeback with Dak Prescott in there, and then you bring in red hair Andy. Andy didn't do very well. The Dallas Cowboys didn't look very well with red hair Andy, and now you have the Nucci, the Italiano. This is a nice Italian boy, and he playing for Dallas. You know, you take the Nucci and you put him in New York City with a nice spaghetti meat sauce and a nice meal, and the Nucci do very well. You understand what I'm trying to tell you? It's no good in Dallas because they don't have a good Italian food in Dallas.
He looked horrible. Tyler, what's your thought process, man? Does Dak Prescott look more valuable or now or not?
I
don't know. Here's my thing, man. I hate to say it, but the reality of sports is, man, once you get major injuries, that takes away from your value. Like, we know what he was beforehand, but KD was the only rare case I've seen in sports where people were willing to bank on a fabulous return. Like, we're willing to put up the same big money we would have had you not got hurt. Because we all know with major injuries like this, for some reason, your value, you really didn't get the same argument he had had he got it done again. You know what I mean?
Paul George, too. Paul George is another one. Brutal injury, and then they gave him the check still.
Yeah. That's how it works. Unfortunately, that's how it works. If you're too scared that player might come back and be 95% of what he was.
But see, football I think is different. I think you don't get the same benefit of the doubt. Basketball is a sport where, they know what the rehab procedure is, the work ethic of the player. Football, especially at quarterback position, we're talking quarterback. We're not talking about bringing back the center twisted his ankle or the safety, hurt his knee. We're talking about the central position of your team going forward. I don't know.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Look at Cam Newton. Cam Newton can't even throw to his right. And everybody was saying, he doesn't throw to his right. When he did throw to his right, he was off target several times. Like, he looked horrible. So, I don't know. I'm going to throw this out there and say, because I didn't ask Stack and I didn't ask Rodney Perry before you guys came on the show. I did throw it out there that I don't think Cam Newton coming back. I'm going to ask you, Rodney Perry, do you think Cam Newton is coming back with the Patriots this season for next season, or do you think that's the season's up?
Only if they can get him cheap again, and I think his market is going to expand, and Belichick is not going to want to pay the big money for him. So because of that, I don't think he'll be back.
Yeah, I don't see how his market expands though. I mean, he's playing horrible. I don't see how
he got COVID too, though. So.
I think Cam Newton stays in New England. I think this is a good situation because they're not getting stomped out. Usually they're in every game. And I think that if we, I think that the price tag for Cam will be right in Belichick's, kind of zone. And I think he'll latch on and create around Cam, just like they created around Tom. Tom Brady wasn't always a stellar quarterback. If we remember when he first started with the Patriots, it was a lot of dink and dunk, good defense, and decent running backs.
But doesn't Belichick like the Patriots will be in his system though?
To do that.
But everybody, nobody seems to be saying that the Patriots had the most opt-outs, for the COVID. The Patriots have, the second or most team injuries. Nobody's even putting all that in. But let me ask you to this talent. I'm gonna change the subject with the team. Seattle is balling out too. Nobody's even paying attention how good Seattle's doing out there. DK Metcalf looked phenomenal yesterday. I'm gonna throw this out there to you. Should we put a wide receiver in the conversation for the MVP? Because just on what the player that DK Metcalf has been doing, what you think, Cal?
I think you have to. I think because Russell is not super impressing me. He's getting the job done. Seattle as a whole is getting the job done, but they're not super impressing. Like nobody right now. When I think Super Bowl, I'm not thinking Seattle first. You know what I mean? I got a number of teams to think of first, then I'll get to Russell. So when you do watch the games, when you actually watch them play and pull these things out towards the end of the game, you see the guy that's making the heroic moves. It's the receiver.
Okay, I'll leave you with that. Fake, what's your thought?
Man, you know what? Two things. One, Cam was one mistake from winning that game yesterday. One little mistake, and the Patriots could have won. Two, DK Metcalf is like, to me, the only player that I could think of that he's starting to look like and starting to play like, and I don't want to be blasphemous, is Megatron. He looks like that type of dude because he looks like he can go get it. He seems like he's a next level type of player, man. And man, once he gets going, you're not catching that dude from behind, man. If he gets a lead ahead of you, you might as well just put them numbers up on the board.
All right. All right. Now I want to throw this last question out there because it's the last question of the day. And we all know the trade deadline is tomorrow. But I'm not even going to go with the trade. I'm going to start with you, Rodney. Do you think Antonio Brown is a good addition to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? And do you think he's going to make the team better? Or do you think he's going to implode on the team? You know, because we all know, like, his last 4 stops, you know what happened in Pittsburgh? He imploded with them. You know what happened with the Patriots? You know what happened with the Raiders? Now this is the 4th stop in the last 18 months.
Well, let's look at it. His last stop was with New England. I think him and Brady have a chemistry. You know, I think he's going to have more chemistry with Brady than Brady has with Mike Evans. And so I venture to say he's going to be a great addition to that team, and he's really going to stretch the field and create some space for the other guys out there. So whether they throw him to him or not, he changes that team, and he gives them a deep threat that they Mike Evans is a little hobbled this year, so we haven't seen him going and getting that deep ball. And so, I mean, I think he gives Brady a chance to air it out.
Okay, all right, Stack, what you think? Stack. What you think, Stack?
Sorry, I got a little distracted. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hold on.
All right, here's my time.
I got a little distracted. Yeah, with the cable bill. The Wi-Fi had him frozen. When it finally started moving, he said, "Oh, sorry guys, I got a little distracted."
They're cracking on you, Stack. Just want you to know that. Come on, but we got 30 seconds. 30 seconds. Come on, Stack. Stack, you want to answer that question?
He's frozen again.
What's the question?
Man.
I couldn't even hear it.
Yo, here you go. Stack's neighbor is knocking on his door. I'm gonna need my Wi-Fi back.
Okay.
You answer the question, Fake. Go ahead. You got 30 seconds.
Yo, man, listen. I think Antonio Brown's gonna take the roof off the joint. Listen, Antonio Brown has never had. Well, he did the one time when he was with Pittsburgh, but he never really had internal problems with the team. You know what I mean? His stuff seemed to be mainly off-field stuff. And when he was with the Patriots, you know, he didn't have a blow up with Tom Brady and stuff like that. They developed a relationship. Football quarterback receiver relationship where they had a little chemistry going. Another pause. And I think Antonio Brown is going to make the Tampa Bay that much better. I really do, man, because he's a one-star player.
Hey, Rodney, put a little bit of that paprika on Stack's router.
Y'all got jokes.
Go on, Charlie. What you think?
Wow.
I'm just gonna mirror everything that Fig said because he hit the nail on the head. He's right. You know, when you develop these relationships in the game, it goes a long way with wins and losses down the future. And it's the same thing with your relationship with your cable and Wi-Fi provider. You have to stay in touch with these people because they will, you know, I got spectrum. What they do is they cut you off a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
You know what's funny? Is you're saying that and your Wi-Fi is acting up. That's what makes it funny,
exactly.
too.
You see that? You see what happens?
Go ahead, Stack.
Hey, I'm gonna just say this: Antonio Brown's a great addition in Tampa Bay. Tonight, y'all will see him. Tom Brady get his revenge on the Giants. I think he's gonna drop like 63 points tonight on the Giants, especially with him and Antonio getting reunited for their unfinished business. I'm gonna watch every second of the game.
You don't have the Giants winning stats?
No, and we're gonna put salt. We're gonna put salt on y'all.
Daniel
No paprika.
Jones is the quarterback for the Giants, right?
Tell everybody out there how we.
Hey, yo, it's just comedy on Twitter, Talented Comedian on Instagram, and King Talent Harris on Facebook.
Fig.
Yo, this is your boy Fig. You can find me on all social media platforms at Comedian Fig. But tonight, special invitation if you want to hook up with me. I'm going to be at the Paprika Factory giving out some paprika.
Go ahead, Rodney.
Hey, RodneyPerry.com, the website, and all things Rodney Perry, Rodney Perry Live. I got a new Patreon page. Follow my page for exclusive content.
Stack froze. Wow.
He not froze.
It's his router.
Catch me at Stacking Over Instagram and Twitter.
All right. Before we leave,
Y'all see
and Rodney's gone. Rodney's gone. Anyway, this is Frank Holder. That's Fig. That's Talent. Rodney Perry bailed. That's Stack. This is the show called The Box Seats. We will be back tomorrow. And then we'll ask Rodney Perry how the Dave Chappelle show was in Atlanta. I heard it was packed over the weekend. I heard it was packed. Good show, too. Anyway, it's the show called The Box Seats. We're on the Humor Mill. Make sure you tell a friend to tell a friend. Call your state cable service provider. Get them to add the panel, too. We'll be back tomorrow. We got a guest. Rodney bailed before he can tell us the guest, too. But we'll get back to that. We'll talk all about that. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Take care.